like to call the meeting to order. Pledge allegiance to the flag. I pledge
allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the
United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation,
under God,
indivisible,
with
liberty,
and justice.
and justice for all. Thank you. Can I have a roll call, please?
Okay, Chairman Anthony D'Italia.
Here.
Board Member Anne Marie Fool.
Here.
Board Member Ed B. Moore.
Here.
Board Member Mark Schiffer.
Here.
Board Member Craig Cantalonto. I apologize. I need some practice. I apologize.
Catalanato.
I will get it. I promise.
I'm here.
Lenato.
I'm not good phonetically. I apologize.
That's okay. It took 20 years for my wife to get it right too. All good.
Okay, all here?
All here.
All here.
Okay. Reading of the minutes, please, of the last meeting.
This is the agenda.
The minutes.
I looked them over before and I believe that they are good. So I shall make a motion to
Anne Marie, second.
accept the minutes.
A second.
I'll second.
Ed, seconds. All in
Yes.
favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? So moved. Okay, we'll go to the agenda. Maylee, I'd
All
like you
right.
to go through
So-
those ones that we have not. That
You know
we
what?
are holding.
Before we actually go to those, let's just address the hearing. Ms. Burgess has called as well as sent me an email.
I will get
I
to the
might-
hearing. I'll get to
Pardon?
the. I'll get to that next.
All right, I was just trying to follow the agenda. All right, so applications. I believe we have RRC Builders, Neil Rigo with his attorney in the waiting room. That's application 20008. Do we want to wait and just call the other ones first?
Probably.
Yeah, let's.
I would
let's
think
call-
so.
Okay, so 20011 is Town and Country Landscaping Property Managed, Anthony Peters. I sent him the link for the meeting as well as I've sent multiple letters regarding the judgments. I have not heard from him, nor has he sent anything in regarding those judgments.
Okay, what's your pleasure on that? You want to table it or you want to reject
This
it?
is the first request that we sent to them?
No, second request.
Second.
Okay, well, I think after a second time, but do you guys think anything about this, the way the world is right now, that maybe there should be a third, or do we?
Just so you know, everything is sent registered mail. They all received all the paperwork, just so that you know that in advance.
I
Okay.
think no response at all after two letters. It's
Yeah,
I
there's
think
nothing we can do about it then.
we should make a decision on it right now.
Well, I would,
say then to deny it.
but I kind of agree with Anne Marie that maybe given the circumstances, in this case, we give a third notice.
But if they were sent in registered mail, like our normal procedure, they're still getting that. I thought it was done via emails.
Yeah, so everything was sent via registered mail. We started this actually was in February. We went to March, which got postponed. They were sent the postponement given the circumstances. Then they were sent the first letter from the last meeting. So that would have made 2. And they also got an email letting them know that they were to appear via Zoom meeting. And if there were any issues that they should reach out to me at that point.
If you wanted to do one more notice, you could put a final notice at the top of it.
Yes,
Mail
I
it.
agree. Let's do that. Let's
Well,
where's his final notice?
what's the pleasure? Craig, what do you think? You want?
There's been no communication after
No.
2 certified letters.
Yes.
Yeah.
I have no documentation for the judgments that we found.
They can always reapply as well, correct?
I'd be inclined to reject it.
Ed,
I lean towards rejection.
I lean towards rejection.
Uh,
I'll make a motion that we reject it. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Craig. All in favor?
Aye.
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 4 opposed.
Opposed?
I oppose it.
Mac opposes. So moved.
Okay.
We reject it. They could always apply again. Okay,
right.
next one.
200045 KC Insulation Corp. Carlos Correas. He too was also sent 2 registered letters. He has judgments. He was also sent the email regarding this meeting. I have not received any documentation as of today regarding any of the judgments, nor has he reached out to speak to me regarding the issues with his application.
Well,
Can I
I think
get
we have to make a
motion?
motion to reject that.
Anne
I
Marie,
think that
motion. Oh, do I
I'd
have a
like to get-
second?
I'd like to again suggest that we send him a letter where it says final notice.
But
Do I
I
have a
think
second on the motion?
Right.
I'll
Who
second
made-
the motion.
Okay.
Ed Moore seconded.
Who
Mac,
made the
you-
motion? You made the motion, Anthony?
No, Anne Marie.
Okay, thank you.
With
Do
the
we have a
motion
second
to,
by Ed?
Yes.
Has some discussion. What's,
the motion is to,
well, I'm gonna ask for a vote
but the motion is to reject or to send him a
to
final notice?
reject, to reject.
Did you send him an actual notice or we only sent
Yes.
him?
They got 2 registered mails.
No,
and-
not Carlos. Carlos got an
Yeah,
email.
they
he
got the
sent.
Yes,
same
everybody is sent. So all these are from February. So they've all received 2 emails from me. Not emails, registered letters from me, as well as an email inviting them to this meeting, letting them know that we were having a Zoom meeting, that they had the opportunity to appear, to answer any questions the board would have, as well as email me and submit all the paperwork in regards to the judgments.
And Maylene, there was also a phone number on that, so they could have reached out to you via
That would
telephone.
be correct.
Right.
Yeah,
Okay.
well, I would
So I
make
have
this.
a motion and a second. All in
Okay.
favor?
Aye.
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 Aye. Ed,
Aye.
Aye.
all opposed?
I'm opposing. I think we should send a notice.
Motion is
Mark,
passed.
they have a, sorry, Tony.
All right.
They have a,
Motion is passed. Go ahead, Maylin.
Annie, did you want to jump in quickly?
I just wanted Mark to understand that they have a right to resubmit.
No, I understand, but I think that given the circumstances, we could send a notice that it says final.
Well, I
that's,
think,
Given, I
So-
understand these are extraordinary times.
They got
Mark,
2. They received
just
2
so-
notices, both of them.
All right, just so you know, a letter of
Yeah.
denial will go out. They have the
Mhm.
option to appeal this denial
Because now they
application.
have been denied an application. Now it says that they have been denied an application. If
Mark.
they apply anywhere else, they have to say.
Right.
okay,
they were
hold
denied.
it, one person at a time.
So I just want you to understand that when I send, so you're gonna deny it at this meeting. A registered letter will go out explaining that the application was denied based on the reason that A, we did not receive any documentation to support or throw out any of the judgments that they had, that they did not appear at the Zoom meeting when they were invited to, but that they also have the opportunity to, challenge, they can ask to have this, reviewed. They can come back in. It's not like this is the end of it. The letter that they get essentially is going to say, listen, we gave you the opportunity to come before the board. You have not. At this point, your application has been denied. You always have the opportunity to come back before the board, but as it stands, to leave this on the agenda month after month is really not okay. If they were that concerned about getting the license, it would have made some attempt to contact me, which they haven't.
Okay,
I understand.
Okay,
Well,
well,
if I just
okay.
want to respond because,
Matt.
with all due respect, Maylin, this is an opinion. This is your opinion.
no,
I do
Mac,
not share
Mac,
this opinion,
Mac.
but I just want to.
hold it, Mac. It's not her
No,
opinion.
but I'm
We-
saying that
we
if the
notified them. We
no,
notified.
but let me finish, please. Please let me finish.
Okay.
What I'm saying is that now if they apply for a license, whether it's in New York City, in New Jersey, in Nassau County, and it says, "Were you ever denied a license?" They need to say yes to this, and that's, I think, is an important factor. And I think for us to deny it in these extraordinary times, because I think it should say a final notice, and that to let them know that if they do not respond, then we will deny. I think to receive a denial is something that's meaningful, and that's
Okay.
why I was opposing. But
Okay,
I
well,
understand.
we'll address that after we finish these applications.
Okay, fine, thank you.
All
Go
right, license number L002366, In Town Inc., Carl Grafora. We suspended his license for 6 months. He reapplied when we did the background check on him. We came up with judgments, a considerably large judgment that was against him. I think I have the application in front of me. You are looking at what the amount was.
We suspended his license once before, right?
That would be correct. And during that
Yeah.
period of time, he had a judgment against him from a contractor and Commission of Taxation, which is still pending and has not been resolved. He is aware of the situation. I have spoken to him. He was supposed, 2 months ago, he was supposed to actually submit the paperwork, but it is not resolved and he's not reached out to me again. And we had been in contact, but he hasn't come forward with anything else.
Has he been notified?
Yes, he was.
Twice?
Actually,
city?
more times because he
Okay.
started in January.
Okay, do I have a motion on that license?
I'm sorry, Maylene, did you say 4 times?
He's yeah, multiple times. He's got, give me a second, I can tell you how many letters I have. He actually, I think he's from January. He might be even earlier than that.
Okay, do I have a motion on
No,
that?
I don't think so. I don't think so. I think that we suspended the license. I think it was a very harsh decision, and I think we did the right decision at that time. You know, we found out that he had some judgment in terms of taxation, and I'm not aware of the other judgment. I didn't see. I thought it was, and we asked him to come by and explain those to us. I think that again, I think that we should send him a notice that this is a final.
Okay, well, right now, we
that
have
would be a
not been
final.
sending, right now, Mac, we have not been sending the notices out that it's final. I'll discuss that after we get done with these licenses, that we notified them by registered mail and by email. So we're voting on what we have in front of us right now. Now, if we're gonna change our procedure, I'll bring that up right after we're done with these, okay? Is that okay, Mac?
Yeah, I mean, I think that, you know, if he reapplies and to the questions where he's asked, well, you ever denied the license, he's gonna have to say yes.
Well, then they should have done their homework, Mac. It's not our job to do their bookkeeping or do their letter writing, whatever.
Okay.
It's their job.
All right.
Okay.
All
Do I
right,
have
so
a
moving
motion?
forward, L002366, In Town Inc.
Do I
What
have
is
a
your
motion?
motion? Is anybody putting in a motion?
I'll
Motion
make a motion to deny.
Anne Marie made a motion. Second? I'll second it. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Aye. All opposed?
I'll oppose. I think there should be a final notice.
Okay. One opposed.
All right.
Next,
Next one is L004956, Ali Gruvek, I may be saying wrong, DBA Elite Pro Home Improvements and More. So essentially, we had code enforcement go to the house in Flanders where there had been a report stating that he was doing work on the premises with an expired license and no permits. When he came before the board originally, he said that wasn't him, but he did do some work there, but not the extensive work that was being done on the house. The house was completely gutted and lifted from its foundation. At which point, you know, code enforcement basically found the truck there. He got in trouble. The house got a stop work order, and from there we never went forward. We did send out letters notifying him to come before the board. He was also sent an email. We basically adjourned this application because we had not made a decision what we wanted to do in regards to his license.
Right. I mean, this I think there was a complaint against him also.
That would be correct.
There was a complaint. So the complaint was assigned to me, and I was going to go there when the pandemic hit. So I decided to postpone the visit.
right, but he had a stop work order given by the town.
Right. But
Yes.
one of the reasons of the stop work order
And
was
we
that
have a pending complaint against him.
It wasn't
No.
a pending complaint. It was a complaint that came in that there was a contractor gutting a house without the purview of a permit, which is why code
Right.
enforcement was sent out. His truck was there. We have photographs that he was on the job site.
Right, but
So-
one of the issues was that he was doing the work without a permit. And he's saying that he couldn't get the permit because he didn't have a license. So now he's
Right.
applied for the license.
Well, now we
The
have
house
to make.
was gutted. Just so we're clear, the house was gutted. He said he was only fixing the exterior. We would have to go back to the original meeting to review it, but I believe he only came in to fix some siding is what my understanding was of the situation. But this house is
Okay, but-
completely gutted. There's nothing left.
Has that been verified with the homeowner?
Code enforcement went by there. They got a stop work order. They never issued any permits for the property from last time. I think the house is still sitting as is.
But the homeowner hasn't verified in what capacity the applicant was hired for, right?
No, we can't get in touch with them. They didn't even reach out to code enforcement, and they have not even applied, for my last recollection, they never even applied for the permits. The house is still sitting in the condition that it was, which is on cinder blocks, gutted.
Okay, but the homeowner, what I think Craig is trying to find out, the homeowner has not filed a complaint against the contractor, or
It was people in the
even-
area that filed the complaint about the
or
work
e-
being done.
or even made a complaint. Or the only one is code enforcement gave it a stop work because we
Right.
don't permit.
No
So we
permit.
don't know the true capacity of what the applicant, why he was even hired, in other words.
That would be
He
correct.
may be telling us the truth.
That
Do
would
we
be
have
correct.
we have any history besides on this contractor?
No, we do not. There's never
Then
been a
I'll make-
complaint filed against him.
But he doesn't have a license.
Then I'll make a motion.
He has a license. His license was not renewed when he started doing the job. His license
Right.
number is L004956. At the time of the job, it was a stop work order, and he was given a ticket for working without his license being renewed.
Okay,
That was Michael Chi, who was out there, who actually gave out the ticket.
I'll make a motion. We approve this license. Do I got a second?
I'll second that.
All in favor? To approve the license. All in favor? Aye.
I think that, I think we need to
Right.
approve the license so we have proper jurisdiction over.
Well, so far, right now, we have nothing against the guy, so.
Exactly.
If approved, can we proceed with further investigation?
Yes,
No.
absolutely.
Well, yeah, it says
Yeah,
stop
absolutely.
work order on it.
Well, I heard yes, and then I heard no.
No, if it's
Well,
approved,
hold
then it
on,
stands,
one person at a time.
If
No,
it's
I'm sorry.
if it's
Go
approved,
ahead.
then it stands approved. If for some reason there's a complaint filed and you have a reason to entertain a possible suspension or revocation, then that's another story at that point. But once it's now approved, then
Right.
I think the file needs further investigation. So I
Well,
will,
But I
we-
think that the
Just,
approval,
Craig, we're just approving him to have a license.
that's right.
Now, if
And-
anything goes further, if say he goes back to work over there without getting a permit, then we could pull his license. We could bring him in.
I
But
understand.
right
Okay.
now, we're just approving to give him a license. We have no
Reason.
basis on holding up his license.
Exactly. There is no reason to withhold the issuing of his license.
So I got a motion. I got a second.
Yeah, I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye, I'll approve.
Aye.
Aye.
Any?
Annie? Craig?
Aye.
Okay.
All right, so all approved?
All
Yes.
opposed, no opposition. Approved. Next.
All right, application 200072 Dexter Saravani DBA Sari Construction DBA. Same situation. He's been sent 2 certified letters. I have spoken with him. He was sent copies of all the complaints. He's aware of all the judgments. He needs to deal with them. He's aware that he didn't know some were open. He knew that some were there and didn't realize that it was actually on Suffolk County. So currently I believe there's like 4 or 5 pages that have judgments against them and a substantial amount of money that's owed.
Okay. What's your pleasure?
You made him aware of this, Malin, so
Yes.
he's supposed to get back to you on this?
Right now, his biggest issue is with Suffolk County being closed. All right, he can't get any documentation showing that he's taking care of it. He is fully aware that there are there are substantial judgments and that, yes, he owes money.
But
He did
he's-
say that to me on the phone, and that he would get back to me with documentation. He is not. If you like,
But he has been in communication with you.
yes, he has.
And
But he
he
hasn't
said,
sent me anything.
but he said he can't get the documentation from the county.
Well, what he said was that certain things he knows was paid for and some were not, and that those had to be rectified. That was his answer to me.
Well,
That he was
that-
aware that there were judgments against him.
Right, okay, well, then at least he's communicating. I say we either table it or.
I would make
a
a motion to table it.
Yes,
Make
I'll
a
second,
motion
I'll
to
second
table
that.
it.
I'll
I got a
second that.
second from Mac, all in favor?
Aye.
All right, so we're tabling it?
Yeah.
Table his
Yeah.
application to see if he could come back.
All right, I apologize. Who
You-
made the motion?
Anne Marie, Mac made second.
Thank you. All right.
Maylene, are you gonna send out some type of correspondence? Letting him
Yes,
know that-
every single one of them will get a letter from me. You know, regarding everything, letting him know that we have postponed, you know, making any decision on the application pending information from Suffolk County and those judgments, that he should reach out to me. You know, if it's an issue right now with having to be able to go into Suffolk County to get those judgments, but by all means, then he should, you know,
Well,
we should be able to, you
Well,
know,
he's
table it for a
communicating.
longer time.
as long as they're communicating, then they're making an attempt.
You're gonna,
Let's go to the next one.
Chairman, if I may, it's going to be tabled to the next meeting of July 10th.
Yes.
July 10th. Yes, thank you. Next.
All right, application 20075, advanced garage door, Daniel Schwartz. He was sent 2 registered letters. I did speak to him. Did not go well. I did send him an email in regards to this meeting as well. As far as he's concerned, he doesn't have anything against them. I did send copies of the judgments I found, and I've heard nothing from him since.
When was your last correspondence?
Would have been last month when I sent it out again, letting him know that it was moving, it was gonna be moved to June's meeting. And that I
Or
still
when
hadn't
you
received
verbally
anything.
spoke to him, when was that?
It would have been, May.
And he left it how? Like, how was the conversation left?
Conversation went that, he didn't know what I was talking about. He didn't have judgments. I explained it with the background check. I did find stuff. I sent him copies of it. It went registered mail. He needs to go on to Suffolk County. I gave him the link. He should do the work. And if those judgments were not his, that those need to be, you know, cleared up so that, you know, he could come before the board, whether it was in front of us or via Zoom, to
Same-
explain those things. And he's not
The
sent
same
me anything or reached
Same
out,
situation as all the other ones, right, Maylin?
essentially.
Okay.
Yeah,
I
but
get-
I mean,
Can I
they
get a
just,
motion? What,
no,
Mac?
I'd like to suggest that we send him another notice as a final notice.
Well, no, I
There
don't
was
wanna do that
communication.
because we
No, but there was-
already,
No, but
We
let me,
already did.
let me finish. Let me finish. In
Go
this
ahead.
case, there was communication. He said he was trying to resolve it, but he couldn't resolve it because the county offices
That's
were
not what
closed.
Mayor
No,
Lee
that's
said.
a different
not what he
contractor,
said.
Mark.
he said,
We're talking about Daniel
he
Schwartz.
said he didn't know of any judgments. Maylene sent it the judgments to him,
So,
and he never got back to her after.
no,
that.
but he may be trying to resolve them. Right now, the
Well,
county
Mac,
offices
but
are
we-
closed.
Okay,
He hasn't
would-
reached out to me at
let's
all.
get
He's
one thing
had
straight.
opportunity,
let's
Mark.
get one thing straight. We already did it with 4 other contractors on the way we're doing it right now. I'm making a motion, we deny the application. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed?
All opposed, I think we should send a notice.
Mac. Okay. One more,
Okay.
right?
The last one, it's 20095 Newtown Landscape Inc., Sean O'Connor. All right, so I've actually been in touch with him. He is actually in the room waiting. It says Sean's, I believe it says Sean's iPhone. So I had him send me his passport. Apparently the spelling on his driver's license is not the same as his passport, and that there's a mistake on there. So I had him send me that. I ran the background check. The only thing I found was a parking ticket So as far as his application goes, we don't hold up for parking tickets. So he's essentially cleared to go if you want to approve his license.
I make a motion. I make a, sorry, Anne Marie?
I was gonna make a motion to approve it. I
Anne
had
Marie, Anne
researched
Marie
this.
makes it, I'll second it. To approve
Thank
it.
you.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 This is
Okay.
Sean. Does Sean want to speak?
I think he was just listening to the meeting. There's really
No,
no
he's
reason his
here.
license is being approved. So
We can
if
see, we
he's-
can see him right now.
No, I can't see him.
I can't.
Yeah, I can see him. He's,
Good.
you have to
there
go
he
into
is.
speaker view. You see him? Hello?
No.
He's definitely.
No, I don't know how to work Zoom. I'm sorry. I don't know how to work Zoom. It's just they asked me to join.
That's
So
okay.
I've nothing to say. I just want to make sure I get approved. That's all.
You're
Yeah,
approved. You're approved, Sean.
You just
Right,
got approved.
thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Okay, have a good day. Okay, we're done with that. Now, Mac, just to bring up what you're saying about a final, you want to bring that up? About sending a third notice, saying final notice?
I think that, given the circumstances that we're in, where really information is not available to readily address judgments that people have, or I think we could afford them, a little, another notice. I think
Okay.
that to be denied an application is a serious thing for a lot of people.
Okay, well,
And
wanna
then you have
make
to
that-
explain that you have, it was during the pandemic and I couldn't attend the hearing.
would you want to make that a motion then? That you want to,
Can I interject for just a moment?
no?
No? Okay.
Go ahead, go ahead.
All right. I just so you're aware, the applications that are before you have been pending for the last 5 months, right? There were substantial opportunities. I was at work every day. There was opportunity to reach out to me. There was a way to say, listen, I'm having an issue. Can we postpone? They have not made any attempt to reach out, just so that's out there and that we understand that. I don't have a problem, moving forward, that we give people more time. I just want Mark to understand that these applications have been before us the last 5 months.
Okay, well, that's fine. I just want to get it clear that if the board wants to have a third notice sent out and a final notice, or even make the second notice of a final notice.
Yes, I think that it should be spelled out that it is a final notice.
Okay,
I
but
think it's important that the person understand that the consequences.
let's get it finalized.
If
Do we want it,
yes,
the
if
second
you say-
notice?
the
or
second notice that your failure to respond will result in a denial.
So,
So that's
or
just going to be in the letters that I
okay,
mail out.
unless
Wait,
the
Bailey,
other way to
Bailey,
do it is that we
Bailey,
just drop the application and there is no action on the
Okay.
application. There is not a denial per
okay,
se.
Mac, make a motion.
Well, I'd like to make a motion that on the notices, that the notices do clearly spell out that failure to respond to the notice will result in a denial.
Okay,
Or on the alternate, that the
But
application will not,
is that
will
what
not
I'm
be
getting
taken
at?
in.
Is your motion gonna be 2 notices? And the only thing we're doing is putting on it, it's a final notice.
Yes,
on the
that will
second notice.
result on either in a denial or that no action.
Well, first of all, our law says that, or the town law says, if you do not respond to the board, the action is suspension or not, no
For
license.
denial.
Denial.
So our law says that, and if they follow the law, so anyway, you have a motion on the floor that the second notice to say final notice, and that's it, right?
Yes, that
Okay.
it should say,
Right.
that should be clear.
Do I have a second on it?
I have a question. Christine, does this
Right.
violate anything procedurally?
It's not a violation of anything procedurally. I think that, a lot of this stuff, I was going to say something, but I was going to wait, really is more appropriate for an executive session discussion about process and what we're going to be doing. You have 4 or 5 applications that you just denied, and you're now changing the process. So it's like you're not affording them. Is that illegal? No, it's not illegal, but it's kind of doesn't look.
Well, I thought I would just try to clear it up, but that's
Yeah,
fine.
no, I appreciate that. I'm just trying to say, if we're gonna do it, then we should probably do it and apply it to the ones that we just did, moving forward, to give them the benefit of that, because, you know, as Mark's saying, if they have to explain a denial, then it is not without consequence to them to have to do that. So if we are
Yes.
taking that seriously, as it appears as though everybody is, then you may want, for purposes of consistency and process, to afford those people that same thing that you're now going to be doing going forward. So
Okay,
you can pick your process, but once you do the process, you need to be consistent and just.
I got it. Okay, I just wanted to get the process
Yeah, no, I
consistent.
appreciate that.
And if Mac, you want to make this motion and the board
Yes.
wants to make it for all of the other people we just denied, we'll change it. But that's
Yeah,
up to the rest of the board.
I'd like to do this because I think that it's important. I think, you know, that license is the livelihood for many of the applicants. You
But
know, it's an
that's
important element, you know,
okay,
and they do
but-
have other licenses in the town of East Hampton, town of Brookhaven, town, you know.
Okay, we got
so
all,
to-
we
To
all know
explain the
that.
denial is a.
We all know
so I
that,
would-
but
okay.
we have a motion. Is anybody going to second that motion?
What is your motion, just to be clear,
The
Chairman?
motion is that
Is to, go ahead.
the motion is that when we send on the second notice, that it clearly spells out that the failure to respond will result in a denial, and that this is a final notice. That the message be clear that it results in denial. You know, and that they have to communicate with us. At least that needs to be communication.
Okay,
It just needs to be clear,
do we have,
not just be an
That's the
invitation to the
that's
meeting.
the motion. Is Anne Marie, you have a second?
Somebody second it, so then you can have a discussion on the motion.
That's what I'm trying to get.
Okay.
Do I have
Somebody second
Do I
first.
have a second? We have no second. The motion is not, we have no motion. There's no second. Okay? So we're standing on the
Not passed.
practice that we have right now. Okay?
Okay,
Let's move on.
All right, the hearings, Helen Burgess versus L003525 Ocean Air Service Inc., Christopher Geiger. I've spoken to both parties. They were invited. Helen sent an email as well as a conversation that she would prefer that we adjourn this till we could actually be in the town board, and that she can be face-to-face with Mr. Geiger and his attorney, as well as her attorney would not be present for this meeting. So she would like to adjourn till we are back in the actual boardroom.
Can I get a motion?
Make the motion.
I'll second it.
Craig?
Aye.
Craig made the motion, seconded by Anne Marie. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? So moved. We'll adjourn
Thank
it till
you.
next month's meeting. Or whenever,
Ne-
well. should
No,
we
it would be adjourned until we are back into the boardroom. That could probably be September.
Okay,
So
so
I'll
that's,
keep them apprised of what's going on.
okay, very good. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, next order of business. New application, home improvement applications. We have 8 of them. What's your pleasure on them?
I would like to put a motion forward to approve 7 of them. 20000097 is Four Season. There were judgments on there. One of them is for a substantial amount, like $104,000, and there's 2, they're all rather current. Malin, your correspondence with them again was that they were.
I got the updated insurances from all of them. We're good.
No, the one with the judgment for 104,000.
Oh, you know what? I haven't heard anything from him, but he'll get a letter that it's going to be, that he'll be asked to come before the board next month,
Okay, so
that it's not approved.
I would like to make a motion to approve 7 of the 8, and that a letter for Four Seasons is submitted that we need further information about the judgments he needs to present to us.
Okay, we have a motion to approve 7 out of the 8. I have a second.
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 Greg, all in favor?
Hi.
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Any? So moved. Okay. Renewals are all done by Maylene. 71 of them, right, Maylene?
That would be correct.
I don't see it.
New application for registration for plumbers.
Wait.
We have one.
I didn't do the administrative, so I let you guys, since we're doing it by Zoom and we're on our monthly schedule, that you can actually approve those or deny them.
Okay.
I'm gonna make the motion.
What's your pleasure on renewal home improvement applications? I get a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve 71 of the renewal applications.
Anne Marie made a motion. I second it. All in favor?
Aye.
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 All opposed? So moved. Plumbing registration, we have one new plumbing registration. Get a motion to approve it.
Motion to approve it?
Second. Second by Craig. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? So moved. Plumbing registration renewal application, we have 11.
Make a motion to approve them.
Second.
Second it?
Second by, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? So moved.
I just want to interject here, Mark, you have to actually speak up and say that you approve, please.
Okay. All right.
All right, thank you.
Okay. We have no other business. We have no complaints.
No, all we have left in the room would be Mr. Rigo, LLC, Neil, is RRC Builders.
Right.
You need to address that.
Okay, Tony, I
Go ahead.
documentation on this application. It's the application of RRC Builders LLC, Neil Rigo. After the last meeting, they provided us with an operating agreement that showed that Neil Rigo, son of Andy Rigo, is the sole owner. I believe, Malin, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but the operating agreement that we did receive, at the bottom of the second page, I believe it said something in reference to, which I think there was more.
631 propane, which belongs to Fisher.
So I think that has to be cleaned up and resubmitted.
Okay.
Another situation we have is I went to the website to RRC Builders. There are houses listed on that website that are houses that were built by his father, Andy. Question I have for them would be, I just want to rehash, is did Neil partake in those construction jobs? But one of them is 7 Evergreen Way, and that was an actual license that Neil's father, Andy, had that we had denied. But he lists these houses are put into these LLCs, and those houses are pictured and listed on RRC Builders' website. We also have a gentleman, Stuart Morgan, that had filed a complaint against RRC Builders. What we're trying to do here is whether we issue or deny an application for a license. So Stuart, I had been in touch with Stuart Morgan, and I had a conversation. I had emailed all of you because I wanted to document that conversation as it was fresh. And the information is in that email where it says that the contract that he had was with Evergreen Construction LLC. Emails that he had regarding that were from RRC Builders LLC. The banking, he said all wire transfers were made to 7 Evergreen Way Construction and invoice for Evergreen Construction LLC. So there's correspondence that's mixed here that I think we need to question Neil and find out what the story is with this. And obviously then there was work being done by RRC Builders without a license. So we have that to address. And Stuart is on the line. He had also sent me some information from Instagram and Facebook. that is everyone will have in their emails as well. So I don't, Tony, that information given to us, I think we should question Neil and maybe invite him into the room.
Okay, we're gonna have that, yes, I think we have to have a hearing on it, at least a hearing, or at
Well, he
least
doesn't
get
have a
some,
license.
at least get some explanation from it.
Well, they're here, Neil, they're on
Excuse me.
this meeting.
Excuse me, Lisa, what'd you have to say? Well, go ahead, Anne Marie.
Oh, they're on this meeting, so we can invite them in.
And I believe Neil has representation that's also on.
Okay,
I'm inviting him now.
we're gonna invite them in, but we're not having a hearing on this, are we?
Not yet.
No.
No.
Okay, is Rigo on, Neil on here?
Yeah. Right here, sir.
Okay, you heard Anne Marie's questions. Can you give us some clarifications?
I mean, could you please repeat the questions individually so I can answer them?
Okay, well, first thing, last meeting, we had asked for a copy of the operating agreement for ORC Builders. And that was provided to us, showing that you're the sole owner. But on the second page, I believe at the bottom, it lists another entity's name, which is Frank Fisher, 631 Propane. We need to get that. That needs to be updated. And did he go away?
Emery, if I just could for a second, I think that, I know that we're not in a formal hearing process, but I believe Mr. Rigo has a representative that he may or may not want as part of the conversation, who perhaps could shed some light on the
Invite him
operating
in.
agreement. So that's up to him if he wants to invite him. I think it's Bob Merrihew.
Yes, I would like to invite him.
What's his name?
Bob Merrihew, I don't know if he's up here in one of these numbers. I think he may be, but I'm not certain.
I do.
Might be the phone that's listed.
Okay.
You can
Where
ask.
is he? I don't see
Phone
him.
is unmuted.
So Robert Merrihew for applicant ORC Builders. So I'm looking at the operating agreement that I sent to Kara back on March 11th, and I don't see anything about Frank Fisher so could you direct me to what paragraph it was?
It's actually not in the paragraph. It's at the very bottom. It shows the operating agreements to 631 Propane Frank Fisher from your secretary's file. It's at the very bottom of the page.
I see that. Yeah. That's ministerial mistake from the secretary when things get copied and pasted. But if you want me to send a clean one, I will. Concerning Mr. Morgan as a complainant against 7 Evergreen, there is a civil suit in Supreme pending between those two parties right now.
Okay, but we're not,
ORC Builders.
excuse me,
Sorry.
Bob, Mary,
Yes.
we're not having a hearing here, so we don't want to get into any complaints or cases that you may have against the customer or whatever. Right now, we're just trying to clarify some of the stuff on its application for a license.
Well, okay, so Neil
So
Rigo.
you have to send us a clarification on the documents that Maylee just talked to you about. You said you're going to clean that up, right?
Yep, we'll get rid of the thing at the bottom.
Okay, go ahead, Anne Marie.
Emery, go through your questions.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Okay, so there's a website, RRC Builders LLC. It also, at the top, it actually says RRC Custom Builders, which is a different name, or maybe it's in a DBA name, assumed name, but I didn't see any of that within New York State's listing that you have that as an assumed name. So that's another thing maybe, Robert, that could be cleaned up.
From the website, okay, I understand.
But also listed on that website are a lot of houses or few houses that the names correspond to other LLC businesses that Neil's father had partaken. The question, I guess, to Neil is, did you build those houses with your father? I mean, there's a few there. I don't know what when did you start working in construction?
No, I did not build them with my father. I went to college for 4 years for management and marketing, and I've interned and foreseen what he's done for the past years, and I've taken all the photographs. So that's why I have that website.
But then that represents yourself as being a builder that's built those homes. Am I correct? Incorrect?
It does not say that on the website. It's just strictly pictures, and it's not even an active website currently.
I accessed it.
The only thing active right now is a Facebook page. The website shouldn't be active.
Yeah, I accessed it this morning, so that it is active. You may want to check
I mean,
it
there's
out.
nothing wrong with having a website with pictures. It doesn't say that I personally built any of them. And I did work with my father and intern on them, but I
Mhm.
didn't.
But I think as a customer coming in to see whether they want to hire you or not, and qualifications, that could be misrepresentation, no?
You don't have to ask the question or conclude. Just ask him the questions that you need answers to.
Okay. Okay, we did the operating agreement, the DBA. Part of investigating into the license there, we did have before us, Stuart Morgan did submit a complaint against a few different names, one being yours and the others your father's. And I had a conversation with him, and there were some different forms of communication amongst both of you. So I don't know if we want to invite Stuart in, or do you?
You know what? You can watch, because obviously this is a public meeting. I don't think it's appropriate necessarily that he participate at this time.
Okay.
The thing that is germane to this conversation, I want to take out anything that may or may not be relevant to a complaint, which we are not here to hear right now, is if there is documentation that indicates there's some confusion as to who is submitting invoices and who is not submitting invoices, and if that could just be cleared up.
Okay, so I
Can I
can
interject?
my email, Christine, of what I had presented to the board through my conversation with Stuart. Yes?
I'm sorry.
Sorry. I can just throw in, I know that their architect, which was representing Neil, or is representing Neil, came in to see Mike Benacasa at the time to push the permits for Stuart Morgan. The work that was done on the house was replacing a roof with major work done on it without the purview of a permit. He got a stop work order and was fined for that, as well as demo in the house, which again was RRC builder Neil Rigo, and it was again without a purview of a permit, which was why the original complaint came in, because he was fined and he's now he's taking over that project because of that issue.
If I may, RC Builders formed well after that job was even begun. I was no part of that job.
According to your architect, and in the meeting with Michael Benacasa, I was present there. Part of that because they wanted to know about the question of the license, which had not been approved or submitted at the time, that you were putting that in, that it was for you and that it was your job. So that's just the clarification that I'm giving. I was privy to that meeting, and that it is public knowledge that I'm just putting forth. Stuart Morgan is again in there. I believe that he can verify that.
Okay, we're not going to have him verify that
Right.
right now.
Christine,
Right now, the question that Amory had. Hello?
I'm here.
Oh, I got
Where'd you
low
go?
bat.
There you go.
I'm running out of battery.
Uh-oh.
Okay. Amory, that last question you had for him, did we get an answer on it?
Okay, well, Christine, I just want to make sure that I can bring up this correspondence about the contract, the emails, the banking. Christine?
You can ask the question about how they're doing business. How are they submitting their bills for remittance and payments and contracts, et cetera, and what are the names on those? Are they just doing it in the one name of the one business? Because there's confusion right now as to which business is both engaging in the contract, participating in the work done, and then billing for same.
Yes. Yeah. So there's a job where the contract was with a different name. The emails came from your email, RRC Builders. The banking was to a different entity. So maybe you can clarify how all that's being done?
Yes, so I can clarify one thing. The contract was from Separate Evergreen, I believe, like you're saying. I'm completely separate from my father. I branched out on my own, made my own building company called RRC Builders. My email is not RRC Builders. It's neilrrcbuilders@gmail.com. So I don't have any relationship to that with my bank account. I can give you separate routing and account numbers. I have no relationship to any of those, that job, the bank or email or anything else. So, I mean, you can go on Gmail right now and make an email for anything you want. I could write
Can you give me your email address?
Neil, Neil,
Mhm.
rrcbuilders@gmail.com. And this was all formed, I think it was the end of December, early January.
Okay.
Corporation was
Well, I have an email in front of me that's RRC Builders. The address is rrcbuilders@gmail.com, dated January 17th, 2020.
Yes, that's not my email.
But it's in correlation to jobs, I think that you may have worked on.
I didn't work on any jobs because I was interning prior to me forming my company.
And what date was?
Can I just straighten this out for a second, just for clarification? Are you saying that RRC Builders was incorporated at the end of January or into February? Is that what you're saying?
I did not form the LLC until I think it was the end of December, early January.
I have a date of a formation of RRC Builders LLC of 12/4/19.
Yes.
Okay.
So there you go, December.
Okay.
And that job, if you view the contracts, I believe it's well before that.
Well,
Okay, that's the job. But Anne-Marie, did he answer your question? Did he answer the questions as far as, from what I gather, he answered the question that the corporation is a different one than his father. He has a different bank account. And from what I could see, the only thing we need to get clarified by his attorney is the paperwork that was submitted that was wrong. Am I correct on that?
I have that same reading.
sorry, Mark.
Yeah,
Am
I
I
have the
correct on
same.
it?
Yeah.
No?
I didn't hear what Mark just said.
I said I have the same interpretation, that all we need is a clarification from the attorney. And I mean, I don't think this gentleman was sworn in. I don't know if he needs to be sworn
Well,
in.
we're not having, it's not a hearing.
We're not doing testimony.
Just
It's not
questions.
testimony. So
We're only
all right.
asking questions. Am I wrong, Christine?
It's gonna.
I think
You're
we
not
need to
wrong.
have his attorney clarify the paperwork.
Yeah, the paperwork definitely needs to be clarified, and it sounds like there are other things. I don't know how, this board normally conducts its business. I'm newly sitting with the board. My recommendation would be that if you're not ready to make a determination today, obviously you would have to issue the license to get jurisdiction before you heard anything.
Right. Right now, we're not making any determination. We're not making any decision. We want the paperwork to be clean, and then we'll decide on about his license.
All right. Tony.
Yes.
What can we do? What can we do to try to get this young man a license, though? Because he formed this entity in December and has not been able to take one home improvement or renovation job because he doesn't have the town's license.
Bob?
Yeah.
I'm gonna leave that up to the town attorney to answer.
Listen, Bob, it's clear that there's some question and some kind of confusion over what the corporation doing business, who's actually doing the business, the websites or whatever. May I suggest that perhaps you speak with Anne-Marie, because I believe it's Anne-Marie's assignment to have done the investigation on this particular license. Perhaps you all can clear that up between yourselves, and you guys can discuss, and so that she can make it clear. She then can come back, represent to the board that she has been provided with that clarification, and she can make her recommendation as to how she would like to proceed, and we can take it from there. But there's obviously a lot of things that perhaps, and I don't want to get into an issue where he's kind of testifying or saying things that perhaps he needs to be speaking to you about before he does so.
Understood.
Okay. So then
Is that okay?
I'm fine with that.
Okay. So
Adjourning to July 10th?
excuse me?
We're adjourning to July 10th?
We'll adjourn it until July 10th. We get the information. Anne-Marie comes back with us at the next meeting, and we can make a decision.
All right, so I'll make a motion that we adjourn this.
I need a second, please.
I have a motion to adjourn it. Second?
I second it.
Ed second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And Bob, in the interim, if you could maybe reach out to me, and we'll get together with Anne Marie as well and try and resolve all this prior to the next meeting so that you can move along at that point.
I absolutely will.
Okay. With that, now there's no other business before the board. I need a
That's
motion
correct.
to adjourn.
I believe that is, so I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Anne Marie made a motion to
Second.
adjourn. Seconded by Craig. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Aye. All opposed? So moved.
Okay.
Meeting
You know-
closed.